Welcome, man.
Thank you.
How
Been
are
a
you?
long time.
Yeah, what was the last time?
Well, the thing I remember first when I think about you is our famous trip in Bulgaria back when we were very young.
I
And,
think that has been over 10 years.
yeah, I think so. I
Yeah,
think so. And I think last time I saw you was maybe here in Tilburg or something like that.
could be.
Yeah, something like that. And yeah, a lot have changed since then.
Lots of things.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why I thought it was interesting to invite you and to have a talk.
To catch up in
in
life.
English. Yeah, it's always you have to get used to it in the first moments, but after a while, it's just fluid.
It's just a language, you know. Yeah.
Exactly. You have to make the switch.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been a long time. Lots has changed. Last time we saw each other, you were still part of Dirt Caps.
Yes.
That was a famous DJ duo with two guys.
Yeah, then three guys and
Yeah.
then two guys
Three
again.
guys?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
We toured. We toured like he was officially part of it. I think in end of 2012.
Who was it?
Tim Haagmeister, MCF Super,
Okay.
and yeah. So we from let's say 2012 till I think early 2016. Was it three of us? Yeah.
Oh, I only recall.
He was
two.
MC, but he also did like a lot of social media stuff, and then it rised like the social media just started. So yeah, it was exciting times with Instagram starting, the end of Hives. Rest in peace.
Yeah. It's still active, right?
I don't know.
I think a Dutch company bought it,
Oh yeah, oh.
but no one's on it.
I just remember the banana and
Yeah, exactly. Like that. Dancing banana. Perfect.
yeah.
So, three of you.
Yeah, it used to be three of us, and then I think in 2016, I'm not 100% sure. Last Friday, I did a show with also two dinosaurs of the EDM, Moxie, Diego, and Samir, who I knew for a long time, also with their previous careers. And then Tim was with me. Sometimes he joins me on shows to do some MCing and whatever. And we were talking about it like we forgot if it was 2015 or 2016 that he quit. And then me and Max, the other guy from Dirt Caps, toured until 2018, and then that was the end of the Dirt Caps era.
And you were also part of Baron at that time?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, and still are.
As Green Tree, I had my first release, like on Baron Family again, and it was different. Like when that specific label started, it was literally a group of friends, and if you see the origin of that label, everybody has gone separate ways, but it's good to be back and there are still some people working there, and of course Niels and Jim. Like
I had I really had to laugh when I saw the high school pictures. Some kind of marketing campaign they had.
Yeah.
And I saw the picture of you and Face DJ Ruud.
Yeah.
I was really laughing. Like, he also switched names, of course.
Yes. Yeah, and back again to Ruud. Yeah, it's you're not really a DJ nowadays if you haven't had like multiple aliases or whatever. So yeah, it's good, man. It's fun, and like that specific marketing campaign was really awkward. It was just like, yo, put on a suit, and the moment you had your suit on, it was like click click, and then the picture was made, and but it's good. Yeah,
good. So when you you quit it in 2018,
yes,
with Dirt Caps, what happened after that? Because I can imagine music is your life.
Yeah. Well, it was always like my plan to start a solo career, and since this is kind of hard to explain in English, because my last name is Groenenboom, which means green tree.
Oh, okay.
It's a the Dutch translation.
Yeah.
So if I wanted to do a solo career, it has to be like all me, and what is more me than my last name? So I decided to do that, and I wanted to go back to my like housey roots, and like I started in March with a release on Hell Deep. That was my first release.
Big track, by the way. I checked it out.
Thank you.
Cool track.
And back then I was and still am searching for my sound within house music, but I like it to be like with my last project with Dirt Caps. It was so multi-genres, and now it's one genre, house music, but in house music you have so many different genres. So I'm still finding my way.
And what's because now you've been solo for 2 years?
No, not even one. I started in March last year. So
shit. Okay, so what's the
I'm a rookie.
what's the biggest difference between being in a duo and being solo project that you're experiencing already?
Well, it's just you in a driver's seat.
Mhm.
That's cliche, but it is true. So
Yeah.
if you want to go left, yeah, you go left.
Yeah.
There's
at
not
first-
nobody that's saying like go that way or whatever. So the whole creative intelligence is with me. Yeah, I make my own road, and like for me, that's the essence of being a musician and a DJ. Like sometimes in this area where everybody tells us what to do,
Mhm.
we forget that there are no rules, and that's
Yeah.
the coolest thing. Like if you embrace that,
Yeah.
then it's super cool. Like in my Durkheim's period, like we also had a manager back then. If we haven't posted anything in 2 days, I got in panic. Like fuck, I need to have good content now to post it, whatever. And now it's like, then my girlfriend sometimes saying like, shouldn't you post something about what you're doing?
At least
Fuck,
something.
Yeah. Yeah, and like it's cool. Like there are no directions, and of course marketing is really dope, and I love it, and I love to be creative, and I also love social media. I love my phone, but like it's cool to not worry about it so because it's
Yeah.
toxic, you know, for your brain.
But I think that's a really precious thing to remember, especially when you've already had a career, because you've had a career from start till the end. And I think it's precious to remember that there are no rules, because what I recall from my career is that the bigger I got, the more I started to feel like I was placed in these boxes,
Yeah,
and I needed to do certain things like posting and like releasing each quarter at that time, because monthly was too much at that time. But all those rules, like the list got bigger and bigger and bigger,
yeah,
which made me feel more restrained each day.
totally agree, man. Like
Yeah.
it's crazy, and that's the thing I'm enjoying the most now is that like I have a really good team. Like 2 guys are helping me. Like I call them my music management.
Mm-hmm.
But like there are 2 guys, they have their own company, and they really help me like with how to distribute my music, because I have my own labels. They help me with that kind of stuff, but also the thing that to answer your question before, like the thing that's also really different about a duo in a negative way, is that you don't have anybody to throw something against. You know, like imagine we are a duo. I made a track. Hey Joey, what do you think of this track? That basic thing, you need to search that in other people.
Yeah.
So yeah, of course I have a team. I don't have management, but like they are, I call it my creative or my music management.
Mm-hmm.
That helps me a lot. But they also let me be in charge. So like I said, like in house there are so many different genres, and sometimes I'm in the studio feeling like, wow, UK house is the fucking best, and then make a UK track from 135 BPM, and then the week after maybe I visit a house party or whatever, I make a very slow deep house 120 BPM track, and
you all release it?
Yeah, that's the funny thing.
Okay.
And like the guys who I work with, they're like, they also managing like a techno act. Shout out Holt, by the way. But they're like, dude, how can you release on Skink and like import it, which is a French deep house label, like in 3 weeks period? I was like, yeah, because there are no rules, just do it, you know. And,
I think if you stand for, it's not necessarily needed anymore that you have to focus on one thing as an artist, as in, it might make things easier for your audience, because then they know what to expect. But still, if you are a guy that makes 10,000 genres, and that's the thing you'd like to do, why not?
Yeah, well, I agree on what you said. Like, it's easier for your crowd, and it's also in the DJing, like the gig part of my career. That's hard, you know, because especially in the house, and that's a thing that surprised me in a negative way. I thought in the whole EDM trap world, like people were very puristic, but in house it's like 10 times worse. So like the whole Dutch tech house scene is so strictly like all the lineups are the same, and if you release slightly different genre, then immediately you're not like welcome anymore in that kind of lineups, which I understand, because the crowd expects a certain way of music.
I think that's the classic underground versus commercial.
Exactly.
And still those, what I always have to laugh about is those genres, they stay like, oh, we're so underground, but at the same time...
They're the new commercial sound.
Exactly, at the same time they're organizing festivals for 15,000 people. I'm like, dude, this is not commercial, this is commercial. Everything you're doing is commercial.
Yeah, I also listened to a podcast, I think it was 3 before 12.
Yeah.
And it was about like the techno DJs. They also fly private jets.
Yeah.
But the big difference is like the EDM DJs are standing before the jet, and like the techno DJs don't post about
Yeah.
it. But if you don't post about it, it still happened.
Exactly,
So,
like the world knows what you tell
Yeah.
them, so they're just more conscious about what they tell them.
yeah, exactly.
But I think that especially as a techno DJ right now or house DJ, like a couple of weeks ago I went to visit Housequake.
Oh
You
yeah,
still
yeah,
remember
yeah,
that?
yeah, for sure, man.
They're doing a new
Legends.
tour right now in the Netherlands. So I visited a party here in my hometown with my friends. Like we're old, so
Yeah.
we went there, and the sound that they play that day was still the same sound as they played
Like really the old school house queen
yeah,
sound.
of course, like a few new things in there,
Yeah.
but overall the same kind of vibe.
Wow.
And I was like standing there, I was like, this might be the new thing coming up because
Yeah.
the cycle has become full now, you know? Like we went to EDM and we went harder and harder and trap and everything went there, and then everything went back to deep house, like everything calmed down again. And I feel like now we are back to the house scene, like when sneakers started, when Dope started. I feel like we're there again.
Yeah, well, I think it's the crazy thing is that still the gatekeepers, the guys that started everything are still here. So I think like this kind of conversations would make more sense if we're like 100 year further.
Yeah.
But then probably the robots have taken over and we don't have human DJs anymore. But it's weird, like ask Carl Cox, ask Chesto like about every genre or like hype they saw, and I think you can make a pretty good curve like. But the interesting part is like when new sounds are coming up, and that's with house. Like house never left, but there were just other genres that were hypes, like they came in between, and house is the fundament and it's still here. But I totally agree, like that whole sneaker sound is really popular, but in my opinion, the last 5 years, me and my friends had conversations. I think the sneaker sound is gonna be back, you know. So I don't know.
I started a playlist, sneakers and Opus Dope playlist.
Yeah?
Maybe
Crazy.
about maybe 2 years ago. I'm not sure. But just on my private account, open it up, like the playlist.
Yeah.
Didn't communicate it at all.
Yeah.
And I think by now it's already over 1,100 followers.
Wow, that's great. Are all your old works in there?
Yeah, but like everyone's. So
sick.
all like Frank Rizardo, Joey Donuts, all those guys. I just started looking up all those songs.
Crazy.
And the great thing about Spotify is that it starts to recommend other songs.
So you can just add them.
Exactly, swipe them in. But it's fun.
That's
to
where it
see.
started, man. It's
Yeah.
a Nope is Dope period.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And when we did the tour in Bulgaria,
Yeah.
that was like Nicky. I slept with Nicky on the
room,
in the hotel, and Nicky
Crazy.
was. I think that was just before he did the David Guetta thing.
Yeah, it was just before his big blow
Yeah.
up. Yeah.
So much fun. The Bulgaria tour.
Yeah.
But with the own project, like what's your goal with that? Or
Well, my goal is, I think everybody's goal is like to have a good living, like not money was, but like good, healthy living. I love to perform and I love to produce. Yesterday I was in the studio with a young kid, and he asked me like, what are you, producer, DJ? Like, if you have 100%, like how would you split it up? And I used to feel more like a DJ, but now since I'm alone and I have to do everything, I think it's literally 50-50. And
is there something you prefer? Like you prefer to be in the studio or?
well,
Doesn't really
like we had a little chat about it before this conversation. Like it's more period based, I guess. So I love to, like in my life, whether it's my career or whatever, like I love to have goals. So now I'm working on my EP, and the deadline was the 1st of March. So the last 3 weeks have been like studio. And because January was okay-ish, like 4 shows, and February the same, so not like crazy touring schedule. So yeah, then I feel really comfortable in the studio.
But you started 9 months ago.
Yeah.
Like, your name is a new brand.
Yeah.
So it's not weird at all that you only have 4. It's actually pretty much.
Yeah, it's much. No, things have changed, and like I'm very aware of the fact that a lot of these shows have to do with my previous career.
But is that did you get those shows through your network, or is it more because
I think more through your own network than
yeah
specifically the Dirt Caps brand, because
Mhm.
Dirt Caps was something really else. Like we were like really a hard trap, hard style
Yeah.
act, and that's not like I think people in the house community love. But like in, let's say, Asia, I did some Asia shows already.
Hmm.
Like that was easier, of course, for my agent to say, "Hey, this was the guy from Dirt Caps. Are you
Yeah.
interested in what he's doing now?" But no, and I think it's the hardest time to be a DJ when
Yeah.
it comes to getting shows, man. It's crazy. Like everybody can be a DJ, which is super cool, and internet makes everything really dope. Like you can release your music very easily,
Mhm.
but it also the craft of being a DJ and like that whole thing is
Kind
really
of
really
disappeared,
difficult.
right?
Yeah,
So,
there are organizations which are selling out venues every weekend and they don't pay their DJs more than $200, and their whole attitude is like, we sell out the venue, so it's about the party, it's not about the DJ,
yeah.
and that's interesting. So yeah.
And how do you cope with that? As in, what do you try to do to? Because you still have to make a living as an artist.
Yeah. So I organize my own parties,
Mhm.
trios, and yeah, that's one thing I do.
Mhm.
I play at the labels parties.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I'm humble. Like I'm not like, if I understand the promoter's point of view, and I think
Mhm.
that's where it goes wrong a lot of times with, especially the whole China market, like where it's not realistic how DJs get their places to play. For example, a 17-year-old kid that never had one release does a show in China for 2K, and then he comes back in the Netherlands after playing not a single gig for 3 months,
Yeah.
and his hometown festival promoter asks him to warm up, and he's like, "No, man, I play in China," you know.
Yeah.
That's the thing that I see these days with the kids, and I'm like,
Yeah,
"Oh,
really?
man." Yeah, and I think I don't know how you started, but
Mhm.
I started as a resident DJ. Like I started at 9 in the evening
Me too.
until 1, 2.
As the first
in the
started
night.
at weddings,
You
like
get $50
private
and you're
parties.
fucking happy that you're.
Yeah.
And I'm so grateful for every hour that I spent there,
Mm.
like behind the bar DJing, people that request songs, and you're like, fucking hell. And yeah, that kind of experience still helps me now, and I
Yeah.
don't want to brag about it, but I think but also my whole generation will be the same for you. Like we are good DJs. Like we know how to play a set, and like
Yeah.
we can watch the crowd and like adapt to it. Like of course DJing is the most fun in my opinion if you play your own music, and
Mhm.
then you're like more an artist than a DJ. But good DJing is also like looking.
Yeah.
Like if
reading
you're
the crowd.
if you're opening up, you're playing really heavy EDM bangers, and
Yeah.
you see that nobody is dancing. Like you have to
Doesn't
make
make
that
sense.
switch, you know.
But I think it's hard to. I think a lot of DJs fight with themselves because on one hand they want to protect their brand and play what they make and play what they
Mhm.
stand for, but on the other hand they probably know like it's all about entertainment, right? Those
Yeah.
people want to be entertained, and if you have to open up and you are a big room DJ who only plays like the 130 BPM big room things, and you have to open up the show, you have to make a decision there. Like, what am
True,
I?
but then it's also the promoter's fault, you know.
Exactly.
And
They
that's-
just
yeah.
position badly.
And,
it's the
like,
booker's fault.
I always agree that you should play your own music and where you stand for.
Yeah.
If you're an EDM DJ and you got booked by this deep house party and you have to open, then it makes no sense
No,
in the first
exactly.
place, you know.
Yeah.
But I think even then, it's smarter for yourself to adjust a little bit, and
Yeah.
maybe if you want to post stuff about it, film that one track that you're playing from yourself.
This is. I had a talk with Sam Feld as well,
Yeah.
and he also mentioned like, don't forget that the place where you're playing might have 500 to maybe 5,000 people in it,
Yeah.
but the stuff that you're posting on your content might reach 100,000 people.
Yeah.
Maybe
it's
even
crazy.
more.
Yeah.
So the content became more important than the show itself. So it might be a better decision at the moment to give those people inside the place a good time,
Yeah.
so that they are entertained, and then just make sure that the content that you post like kind of goes away from the fact that you didn't play your sound 100%.
Yeah, I agree on that. But like me, I love Sam. He's like fucking genius.
Yeah.
Also when it comes to the whole marketing concept, and I totally agree. But like for me, that's not how I approach the this whole world.
How do you approach it?
Like I approach it, I think with no marketing perspectives in the beginning, but like more from a eagle view, if you know what I mean. Like I know when something works, of course, and I stay true to that. But it's not like maybe I should do that more. But like when I'm at a show and I'm really enjoying myself, I'm just like, I don't know, filming the crowd, which is very stupid because you don't see me, you just see a crowd, and then. But I'm just like having a good time, and I know that I need to show it or something like that. But I prefer like to bring I don't know, a camera guy with me, and of course you talk with the camera guy like, hey, I want it to be a little bit light and a little bit funny, and but also serious or whatever. But I think it's not a struggle for me, but it also is like
posting the content during the show. I always think it's maybe I'm just sounding old, but it still looks awkward when a DJ is on the stage and he's filming the crowd or he's filming himself. I'm like, agree. Maybe it's just a generation thing. I don't know. Yeah. But I just still think it looks awkward. I totally agree that you should post something because that's what the fans expect you to do. Yeah. And you want to give them an insight on how your life is. So I get that. But at the same time, you want to be at that place where you're at.
Oh, dude, I totally agree. And like, I agree, but I do the difference. But like, I limit myself to do it maybe, I don't know, 2 or 3 times during a show. And that's it. Like, I play an hour and a half.
Exactly,
But like, I totally agree because I get fucking frustrated if let's say the camera guy from the venue makes a clip and you see yourself standing like that. Yeah, it looks like, fucking stupid. Like it's the same with making pictures of your food. Like, but it's also for sharing. Like if I having a good dinner and I'm not with my girlfriend, I like to show her, like to make her part. That's the whole generation that we're living in now. And of course you have your remarks about it, but
I just think it's important for an artist as well to be in the moment. Like if you're there, if you have to take out your phone during your show, I might think that for me I could get out of my focus. Like during my show I get in some sort of zone. I think a lot of artists do. You get into a certain zone which creates that connection with the audience. Like it puts you into that connection.
Interesting.
And taking out your phone away, taking out your phone just completely disrupts that connection.
Yeah, maybe it's not like I love to talk about this, but it's not for me. It's not like an hour and a half I'm standing like this.
No, exactly.
It's an interesting point. Yeah. Like, I will think about it.
I just think that there's more creative way to, because I do agree you have to post about that show in some kind of way, but I think that maybe a single picture is enough already.
Sure, 100%. And then like when you talk about marketing or whatever, the funny thing is that I already noticed with Dirt Caps, like we play like everywhere, like very big venues, big festivals, and the first time you're posting a picture standing in front of 10,000 people, it's crazy. You get like, whoa, but it also gets like in your head like something you must continue. So what we did, we always brought a camera guy with us, and every time we played the show, we're standing like this before the crowd. And if you look back at all those pictures, like it doesn't make sense. And if you by any chance, I don't know, maybe I'll put a plan on my head and say Happy Friday, you get a lot of more traction and reaction and like
it's more personality. And I think that as an artist, I had to look at your profile before, and what I really like about you is that you have a real personality going on in there. Like you are yourself.
Yeah.
And
thank you.
I don't like to see an account where I only see those stages. I see like, dude, I know you're a DJ, I know you make music, but I want to see who the guy behind all those things is.
Yeah.
And I think that's also, like posting about that show, I think those video clips during the show, no one really cares about those things, I guess.
I don't completely agree because like if you have about that specific subject, like I do it like with my IDs, so the only thing I do is like show people
the new tracks.
Hey, this is my new ID. The reactions I get are like a lot, and then you start. I think it's very important to talk back and. But if I, for example, take a camera guy that makes a very how do you say it, a smooth clip. That's also not me. So it's different. Yeah, it's difficult, man. Like maybe I should, how do you say it? Like miners, they have the little light on their helmet. Maybe I should start wearing a GoPro on my head and don't get out of my creative focus.
There has been someone who did it already, right? Who was it?
Yeah, you had the whole Snapchat thing going on, right?
Yeah.
Like with,
Oh, and you had Nicky at Ultra with the lens, the Google lens.
Oh, yeah.
Was it Ultra? Tomorrowland? I don't know. But he had that one show. But I think that's a solution, of course. I just kind of feel that within that whole social media combining with your career, we're in a time where we're just looking for the right answer, as in it's kind of the mini disc time for me. Like it's not completely evolved yet. Like we're not there yet.
Well, of course, like all those things are growing. If you, for example, look how the Chinese people use social media, I think that's our, like as the Dutch people or whatever, the European community, like I think that will be our future as well. Like
what's the difference?
Well, in China, for example, you have WeChat. That's like a whole combining thing where you have the person Joey / the artist Joey / the coach Joey. Your whole, let's say, Instagram, WhatsApp, Twitter is all combined in one page. And I think in the future, like you also have like movies about it, futuristic movies. I'm really big fan of the movie Her, where Joaquin Phoenix plays a guy in an era where you also talk against your imaginary Siri system, and he falls in love with it. But that's about the movie. But I think
so with your inner voice.
Yeah, okay. Like so. For example, you see all these people standing in the train, and everybody's saying like, "Yeah, turn the page," and then like in something you cannot see, maybe there's a chip inside your head. People are reading the newspaper, and the system operator is turning the pages. Well, maybe that's future, but I think like because our whole identity as person and our social media identity, whether you're an artist or not, like that's going everywhere. So I think there will be new platforms also for an artist where you combine everything. And these days, if I compare it to a few years ago, everybody expects to see everything from you as an artist. Like I think they literally want to see you shit, for example, but you have to share everything. You have to cry, you have to laugh, you have to play music, be in the studio, eat, whatever. And I'm sometimes I'm a little bit concerned where it goes to, like, but I don't have the answer. But I think stuff will change to answer you. Right?
Yeah, but I think that's not necessarily, of course it happens in the music industry, but it also happens if you have a look at the youth right now, like who are 16 or 12 or whatever. Everything needs to be shared, you know, like, and I think that's an interesting thing, and of course we will see how that will develop. Yeah. But I think it's important to always kind of have a distance between the whole online thing and the offline thing.
Of course, yeah. It's weird, man. I think kids nowadays, they can get into an argument like, hey, Joey, why didn't you like my picture? Why didn't you react? Is something wrong? Like, that's crazy. Yeah. Like, let's have real conversations. Yeah.
And is that something you, like with fans, for example, like if you have someone following you on socials, you're probably getting direct messages as well from people that you've never met before, but they do feel like they know you because they're a fan. How do you deal with that? Like, for example, when they're negative or...
Oh, yeah. Just be me, I guess, or something like that. Like, I played a show a few weeks ago, and then I was just like looking at the pictures of the party because I was checking out if there was a good picture for me to use because I haven't posted anything in a while. And then I saw a comment where somebody says like, the guy that played the closing set was really shit. And like, I was triggered to it was my first negative reaction, and I think and I hope a lot of will follow because if everybody likes you in the world, that's not my goal. Yeah. So, but it triggers me to, I don't know, react on it, but like I learned to not do it and let it slip away. But at the other end, like I don't want to be like only embracing good comments, if you know what I mean. So I always like to help, especially like young kids or young age, doesn't matter. But like, if people ask me specific questions like, "Hey, I like the way you process your vocal in that track,"
More
and
production focused
that
things.
I really like.
Yeah.
Or I got this real cool message after the show Friday. This girl sent it me, and I noticed her because she had a lot of curls, and I was like playing. She was next to the DJ booth, like dancing her ass off, and then she wrote me a DM like with, "Thanks, you're so underestimated." It's like, wow, what's the whole like? I love it when stuff like that keeps you thinking. Like, it's such a weird message, but I think every artist, like maybe not like. No, I think even Martin Garrix sees his DMs like it's fun to do. We all travel a lot, so yeah, and I think it's important to react on it and like not maybe on everything, but
Yeah, it depends, you know, like sometimes feedback can be valuable, as in if it's valuable feedback, if you can actually learn from it. Like someone telling you that your show was shit, it's just his opinion, you know, like...
yeah, and I embrace that, you know.
Yeah, you can leave it there, like, he can say...
But I remember like when we as Dirt Camps released our first video, I think somebody literally wrote down, "I wish these guys get cancer," and I was like, wow, and that was 2012 back then, like, so the whole trolling thing was quite new. I was like, why would you say that, you know, like, crazy. And then like when you get further in your career and put out more videos, it's becoming normal to like, I think, being funny and wish all these terrible things to people.
Maybe you're getting numb for it, as in it's just something you get used to, and more often you experience something, the less special it becomes.
Yeah.
So that might be something, but I still think that the whole social media thing, it's definitely not gonna disappear, as in it's only gonna get bigger, I guess.
Yeah, or
so
different.
we have to deal with it. But it's really interesting to see how it's developing in the artist industry as well. Like how do you entertain like the crowd inside the club, but also at the same time everyone who's watching you from their couch at home on the other side of the world, right? So
and like also the promoters, the guy that books you, they don't look at the artist anymore. Well, some of them do. They look at the fact like, how can we get those people inside? And if you think about it, it makes sense. They need to sell tickets, they need to sell drinks, but it's the whole. I don't want to sound like an old dude, but I am. Like, I remembered going to Dance Valley for the first time, and I idolized Ferry Costin. Like, I think he was back then, maybe we're talking about 2002 or something like that. He made the anthem, but like, you can cut it in. But like, I remember watching his set, and back then you only had CDs or stuff you can listen to in a free record shop. And you're like literally like amazed, like, whoa, what the fuck are these tunes? You don't have Shazam, you don't have forums to check like the songs. So yeah, sometimes I miss that period. And now if I walk around at a festival, and it's actually a thing that Jopke, J. Hardway, and I, we used to share studios. Like, he told me like the thing I'm missing, because he's a main stage artist. He says the thing I'm missing is that there are, especially like the opening slots, they're not like educators anymore.
No, exactly.
They're just like the homies from the promoter or that talent from the roster that needs to be pushed to a place. Like, if you want to book the big guy, you should also book him. And like, that's a thing that I'm missing a lot. Like, going to a festival early to see that amazing hip hop DJ play or house DJ play. Like,
yeah, exactly. And maybe it's something from the old school, but I really kind of feel that that's something we get back to in the industry.
Yeah, I think so. But I see it in my agenda. Like,
I just really think that promoters are kind of done with paying less money and get shitty DJs in return. Because it's just different when you have a good DJ warming up your evening. Like we talked before, like you can, if you're good at reading the crowd, you can just control the night. Like, you can control wherever you bring the energy and wherever you bring the vibe of the evening. And if you...
I fucking love opening, because in my whole Dirt Camps period, maybe we opened for Yellow Claw sometimes, like, or for a hardstyle DJ, but then the energy was already here. And now of course I get some opening slots, and this Friday I opened for Moxie and Notion. And like, the party started at 11:30, and I did a 90-minute set. So I prepared like, okay, what I don't prepare my sets, but I'm preparing in my mind like, okay, there are two UK house acts after me, and like UK wobbly like, and the closing guy Ricky West is also like, he even plays 150 BPM. So I already a little bit expected, okay, if I'm gonna play deep house, that's maybe not the vibe. But I thought maybe the first 30 minutes people will slowly get in. But dude, like, shout out to Moxie, like within 5 minutes the place was filled, but people were like, okay, we want to go, we want to go, we want to go. And then it's a difference in between playing hard shit or playing on a slow BPM, harder stuff that get people grooving, you know what I mean? So yeah, I was really enjoying myself. I was really proud of myself, like reading the crowd, and it was good vibes, man. But I also played opening slots where on a festival, for example, Seventh Sunday. Last year was one of my first festivals as Green Tree. I was placed like, I think 1 till 2 or 2 till 3, and there were literally during my whole set maybe 5 or 6 persons.
That shit.
And that's the bad thing, because you want to convince promoters, hey, give them the chance. But the whole festival started an hour later because of the weather. There were like all these circumstances. People arrive at the festival, they're not gonna run to the side stage. They're gonna stick around at the main stage, like get all these impressions. So yeah, but I agree. Like, I have some cool stuff coming up this festival season. So I think what you're saying, like promoters try to take a gamble or whatever.
I think they do, because like, of course money is always a thing, because they want to make as much money as possible.
Yeah, which is super expensive.
Yeah, which I completely understand, that people want to make money, but the thing is, like, I think promoters are starting to see the value again of having a good warm-up DJ, and that it's not a bad thing if they need to spend 500 euros, I don't know, 800 euros, instead of having a local guy opening up, who is, it depends on which hours, you know, like if it's about that first hour where literally no one is on the dance floor, I can see why there's someone else playing there, but like the second and third slot are so important in my opinion, and I think that there's a lot of space there for other artists to compete with as well.
Yeah, and I think it's not
minutes.
Sexy to focus on that spot. No, I'm completely focusing on that spot. Of course, I want to be a main stage artist, and I think like whether genre you're playing, you should be able to do like a headline set or a closing set or opening set, like as we say in Dutch, knallen. But I think it's important, man. Like, that's why I respect, for example, La Fuente so much. Like, here in the Netherlands, like if you have the Netherlands as a little game, I think he played every level. It's like he reached Koopa Troopa or Bowser, but he's a DJ that first focused like on the, I don't know, 4 to 5 main stage slot on the main stage, and you have other examples, of course, but like I think it's really dope to just make that your own, and from that place you can start building like, hey, am I a main stage artist or am I a house stage artist, and in that house area am I maybe one of the big guys, or also like that's a journey.
And maybe even the sound that you're playing as a warm-up DJ might end up becoming your main stage sound.
Preach.
I think that happened with Frankie Rizzardo.
I think, he's a perfect example.
Yeah, like he started playing tech house. He first got off, like, was it Big Room at that time?
Yeah.
I think right a bit before that, but he changed his sound into the whole tech house thing. He started off from the ground again.
And now Flo is doing big parties.
Now he built his own brand and his own thing, and he's booked more than ever, I guess.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. Yeah, I did a show in Rotterdam called Glow in the Dark, and you have these 3 areas: techno, tech house, and they call it Future House, I think, where I was playing. But I was really looking forward to finally see him play again. But then we were placed like the same time.
Same spots.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
Fighting for the same crowd.
Yeah, well, he won. Needless to say.
Yeah, I think it's good to talk more about the whole DJing thing, because there's a lot of guys and girls on the whole world like fighting to get that main stage spot, while there only are like maybe a couple hundred, maybe 1,000 spots a year possible.
Yeah, man. It's crazy. Yeah, in a way, I saw my hero Frankie de Jong in an interview with Dutch television this weekend, and the interviewer asked him the question like, do you have some advice for young Dutch players that also want to play in Barcelona?
Yeah.
And he said, just have fun. It's like, well, Frankie, that's a bit of like, they also want to play and come now. he said, yeah, well, to be honest, like if you see the last decade or the decades before, maybe one or two or zero kids are breaking through in this level.
Yeah.
And it's the same with DJing. Look at the main stage table.
Yeah.
Let's call it a table. Look how long that table is already filled with the same participants, and
How
look
much new names are coming in? Not
like
that much.
really breaking through, like Martin Garrix, you know, like
Oliver Heldens.
yeah,
Yeah. But
it's crazy.
it's not that much.
No,
Especially
so
when-
maybe you should start focusing on other goals, and maybe that's not the goal, but like the way, I don't know, like yeah, it's an interesting journey without answers, and what I said before, there are no rules, there are no
Oh, Siri.
Siri?
Thank you.
There are no rules, there are no guidelines or whatever. But I think, and that's of course what marketing makes us do, and it's crazy to see the big shows in the stadiums, and of course everybody wants to be that guy. Maybe not everybody, but
Yeah.
a lot of people do. But yeah, there's no better feeling than to just do a good show, whether it's before your 20 friends or 200 people in your local venue. Like, yeah.
How important do you think, like, let's take that 100%, if you need to divide it into your music and your marketing / content, like how important are those two things right now?
Sadly, I have, like in general or for me?
In general.
In general, I think sadly that music, I don't even dare to say it, but music of course is very important, but it's not as important as it was.
Yeah.
There are a whole career based on which tracks, no tracks.
Just marketing.
Yeah. So yeah, there you have your answer, I guess. But for me, it's still really important, and like what triggers me in also playing new music is like I remember I think it's an English guy called Wise, and he had that Feel My Needs track.
Ooh, yeah.
I was like, wow, this is a track that I already know for 30 years. No, it's something new and fresh, you know. And
I love those songs. When I first, which was the first one I heard of him? Like the beats he used, like the way he mixed his song. I was like, fuck, this is something.
And that's kind of stuff is like, I don't know who the guy is. I don't know how he looks like. I'm not following him on Instagram just because I love that track. And then you start digging in like, oh fuck yeah, his old shit is also cool.
Yeah.
And then you see like, oh okay, so that's what Two Room is doing now, or what Defected is doing now. Like I love that kind of stuff, you know. In that way, music is important. But I also, I don't know, for me the kings of marketing, but also music, are Yellow Claw, for example, like, and how they run their label. I'm glad to be part of it. But like, yeah, of course it's crazy if you have the possibilities to. Yeah. But no, I wanna how do you say, rephrase that. If you make those possibilities for yourself, like, yeah, I can also enjoy it. I think, to answer your question, what is the ratio? I think maybe 70% marketing, 30% music nowadays.
Maybe even more.
Yeah.
Depends, you know. Like you, for example, the Tool Room / Wise corner. I think music is more important there because those labels are more focused on the music, I guess, than on the success of the artist. But the fun thing is that if one of those guys pops up, a new name, which with crazy music, crazy new sound, and you dive deeper into them, then you see like they're not new on the block. They've been there for like 10 years, 15 years, 20 years.
It's Mouse T, the guy that everybody knows from his Horny remix or a Horny track. Yeah. Like he's now a headliner when it comes to Glitterbox or like the Defected
like
parties.
The disco kind of sounds.
Dimitri from Paris. All those guys are like old guys, you know, like
20 years years in the industry probably.
Yeah, it's fucking epic, and
that's a big difference, I guess, that
gives the civilian courage.
Yeah, I think that's a big difference with maybe the EDM industry. With EDM it's more focused on marketing, and I think the more underground you go, the more focused on music it is.
Yeah,
and of course marketing still helps. It always helps
for sure, but it's also like a little bit, it's maybe a weird thing because it's a German war term, or like Blitzkrieg, Sitzkrieg, like
what does it mean?
Yeah, long way, short way version. Like EDM is very short, like
short term,
and of course you have like the EDM dinosaurs, but like I think underground or like a music based career instead, let's say like that, a music based career or a marketing based career, that are big differences.
Yeah,
like, and you can adjust it to every specific era of or genre of dance music.
Yeah.
For example, like I'm always so wondered about that specific era. I think you were also a little bit part of it.
Mm.
Like I call it the whole revealed EDM
Yeah.
thing. Like
The start.
dude, I was like, it was new. It was also
Yeah.
underground, but like it was music based.
Yeah, but was at the beginning
Was it?
maybe it was
Yeah,
underground.
but
yeah.
no, not under. It was of course
Yeah,
very
it was
hard.
EDM.
Well, it's not underground, but
Yeah.
it was like new. It was rave. It
Yeah,
was cool, and then it fucking collapsed. Like
Yeah.
if you see the the guys or the names that are still touring and out there, and the ones that we lost, you know,
Mhm.
like crazy. But you also have it. I don't know with Dutch Bleepjes House,
Yeah,
or
a
the
lot.
Dutch House or
Like
whatever.
I had what was the name again? Last week I saw somehow I ended up on someone's Instagram. I was like, what? How long? What happened with him? You know, like,
Yeah,
I just
yeah, yeah,
completely
yeah.
lost him out of my sight for 10 years. But I still remember that in that whole beginning area, he was the main man.
And the cool thing is also with you, with your career change, like a lot of guys that I start playing and DJing with in fucking 2006 or
Mhm.
before are now A&Rs at labels,
Yeah.
or they are promoters
Yeah.
or coaches or
Get
I
different
don't know.
positions.
And
yeah.
it's really cool like
Yeah.
that. And I think if you compare it with like the football, how football and everything is made like in the business side,
Yeah.
you also see old football players becoming board directors or whatever.
Yeah. Or coaches.
Yeah, and you see,
Yeah.
our coach, you see it the same in the music industry, and that's like we need to realize that we're still in the first wave. You know,
Mhm.
like still the guys that started this are still here.
Yeah.
So imagine how the future will be. Like imagine Martin Garrix stopped playing as a DJ and becoming a music mogul. You know, like being in every TV program, analyzing the Eurovision and like you don't know what's happening. Yeah.
Might happen. But I totally agree with if you ever look at Mark Knight, for example, you know,
Yeah.
like he's been in the industry for such a long time and he has been pretty constant with his music as in the kind of genre that he released. And the only thing you saw that of course he had his moments of more popularity and less popularity. But that has to do with the fact that his genre became more popular or less popular.
Agree.
Right now, I think Defected and Toolroom are more popular than ever. Like Defected, for example, sells out Croatia. They have their own festivals all over the world.
Tour.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. And I look at that's my hero, Cloud from Stroke. Like,
Oh yeah,
Dirty Bird, like crazy, man.
Dirty Bird.
He's been there. I played this track Deep Throat like years ago, and now
I bought what's it called? Fuck. Who's in Detroit?
oh yeah, that's also that's great, and that's also given me a lot of confidence, I guess. Like if you stick to yourself and your own plan and not jump on every hype that there is, like I think like maybe if you're, let's say, like me, you're in house DJ, and now house is very popular again. That's good. It's something I also benefit from. But if, let's say, next year Latin will be the number one thing, like I'm not gonna play Latin tracks, and I'm not gonna make Latin tracks. But you can fuck with it. Like you can make maybe a house edit of a popular Latin track. There's nothing against that.
But that's a more long-term vision, I guess, because if you take that approach, you know it's going to be a lifelong thing because you will always stick to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
But you also know that there will be moments in time where you will make less money or where it will be harder to make money because the industry goes left and you goes right, or the audience goes right. But it's something you have to be prepared for. And I think that's the hard thing for people because most artists focus on the short term. They want to get success now. They want to get money now. And I think that's... It could be a decision, you know, like if you make the decision like I'm going all in for 5 years and then I'm going to quit and I want to make as much money as possible in that 5 years and then I'm going to take a job as
whatever,
an A&R or whatever. If that's your approach, I agree, but then it's a different way of thinking. For you, it's a more long-term plan.
Yeah, for sure, 100%. And sometimes I think I speak with guys like that, like I'm in this for the short term, but they act like a long-term DJ, and then I'm like, I don't understand. Yeah, I only want to play this genre, but you just want to make money, right? Like, do whatever, man. Yeah.
I think I was guilty of that as well. Like, I wanted to be a long-term DJ, but because the opportunities came on my path, like Revealed, for example, that whole scene
You hopped on the
blew up.
train and
That whole scene blew up, so it was easy for me to jump on that train and to go for the short term thing.
yeah.
Because
Well, maybe your sound, as JoeySuki before, was like if I listened to a track back then, I was like, yeah, that's JoeySuki.
Yeah.
And Abster, you did a lot of stuff.
Yeah, exactly, and
like, that's their sound.
Yeah, and that's what I noticed afterwards as well. Like I'm really more into that more underground sound. I also released on Defected, on Tool Room. That was the whole start of everything, and then the EDM bubble came, which was more money, which was more success.
Yeah.
So it was an easier path for me to take. But I think in the end, it might have been better for me to skip that whole thing and to just have just stuck with the thing that I like to do the most. But yeah,
Just like life, like you cherish the stuff when you're losing it or when you lost it already. You know?
Yeah.
So,
exactly.
yeah.
So I think for me, it that happens. You know, like I was in it for the long term, but somehow I got tricked. Well, tricked. It's definitely not. It was my own decision. But yeah, it's definitely happened to me, I guess.
Yeah.
Looking back at it.
Yeah, but you look really happy. You're healthy, and
right now I am.
Yeah. So yeah, that's
I'm a
amazing.
bit tired though, but
Yeah. I heard your stories.
yeah, Carnival kicked in, and the child kicked in. But,
Yeah.
that's also part of life, right? Things change.
Yeah, man.
I want to thank you, man. I think it was a nice, valuable conversation for everyone who's
Thank you.
watching. Like starters, bigger DJs, lots of
How
stuff.
long are we in?
I don't know. Probably an hour or something, I guess.
Feels like 20 minutes.
No, I think
Oh,
it's
wow.
longer. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I want to thank you, man. Thanks for visiting. And,
Thank you.
Nice to see you.
Go to the toilet now.
Yeah.